Welcome everybody to a dreary day here in Austin, Texas. This is episode 3 of Ride With Me. So this is our, well, before I kill my battery here. This is our video format where I usually pick a spot to go to, long, uninterrupted video where you guys get to ride with me in traffic. I try to narrate everything I'm thinking through to try to help beginner riders and those who are looking to get into motorcycling on how to navigate situations. I thought today would be an awesome opportunity to talk about wet weather conditions. And today is a weird one because it's like just wet enough to where the road actually gets a little bit slipperier than it would in normal rain. So let's jump aboard my personal Ducati Scrambler Desert sled and let's go for a ride. When it comes to riding in wet weather, you have to make sure all your inputs are super duper smooth. Do everything a little bit earlier and a little bit smoother than you would, and you should be in perfectly good shape. The other thing that can kind of stink when you ride in wet weather, besides getting your riding gear wet if you didn't plan correctly and you're wearing like rain-proof gear and that sort of thing, is the fact that your visor can be hard to see out of. You got to constantly wipe it down, or if you don't have a pin lock system, sometimes it can get a little foggy underneath. Weirdly enough, this Arai XD4 that I'm wearing, the visor doesn't even have a pin lock insert for it, so I can't even do that for this helmet. So on days like this, it can be a little tricky. All right, boys, so check it out. We're at an intersection right here, off camber from where I'm supposed to be, slippery conditions. We see the traffic slowing down here, but it looks like people are not really wanting to let me through. Maybe this Miata will be kind. Nope, he's just gonna go right ahead as well. Now we finally have the go-ahead over here because it's finally yellow on that light. And what you got to be careful of when you're turning right on a big highway intersection like this is, number one, time of day is important. If you're riding near rush hour traffic, boy, people really don't want to let you in. People are tough, they're angry, and they just don't want to give any leeway. And the second thing is, if they are moving and flowing onto a highway like this, people can drive really fast. And so if you're turning right, be mindful of the closing speed of the vehicles coming in. That can be a big thing. And sometimes, like we said, we're back at that intersection, we're off camber, it's a little bit slippery, and it can get a little awkward when you're leaving. And I've seen many footage of people who, unfortunately slip or slide or drop their bikes at right-hand turns like that because they, got a little scared, saw a car come and stab their front brakes, and then got going there. So skipping a little bit of traffic here on the shoulder, no problem. Got good visibility. Got tons of people turning left onto this road here where we were trying to go. We are good to go now. Dodge the pothole that's in front of us, and we are away. Keeping in mind that it's drizzly, it's wet, it's kind of crappy out. Watch this person going right over there. Have our finger covered over our front brake, no problem. But what you got to keep in mind in conditions like this is that when it's kind of raining like it is today, all the oil and the crap in the road gets pulled up more so than if it was actually just like actually heavily raining and pouring everything away. So be very cautious when it first starts to rain and if it's lightly raining like this, because the crap just gets pulled up off the road. So you'll see we're keeping it very low and in check on this nice twisty road right here. Got a bunch of cars ahead of us. This is not the time to try to ride aggressively, right? This is the time to take it easy, maybe in a gear higher than we normally would be, or kind of go in third or fourth gear, depending on your motorcycle, and allow the bike to work. But our fundamentals are still the same, right? We're still going to try to load the front end when we go into corners, reduce lean angle as much as possible as well. So you can see there's a dry patch forming right here, so try to stick under the dry patch, give yourself a little bit more grip. But if you're gonna lean into a corner, you go ahead and lean off the bike a little bit and keep the bike a little bit more upright. It just gives you a little bit better chance to keep the bike all in check. You don't wanna be just full on leaning into corners when it is wet, because that's gonna cause lack of grip. You should keep in mind the type of tires you have too. If you're a sport bike rider, you're on super sport tires, sometimes those have terrible wet weather performance. Way back in the day when I had a Daytona for the street, I used to ride with Super Corsa SPs from Pirelli on there, and boy, I don't think I've ever had a tire that had less grip than that in the wet, other than a slick that I've used for racing. But keep in mind the type of tires you have. On this bike, we have the Pirelli Rally Scorpion STR, a kind of dual purpose, knobbly-ish tire. Decent performance all around, but I'm still not going to chance it. So you can see everybody ahead of us is taking it real easy too. You'll notice that when you're riding around in wet weather conditions, everybody else seems to slow down a little bit. It's no biggie. Everybody's kind of going slower, and you should be too. One thing that is annoying, like I said, is that if you have that kind of droplets building up on your visor, you'll have to keep kind of clearing your visor a little bit while you ride. I've never found a better solution for that. I'm not much of an inclement weather rider. I ride in the wet if I really, really need to, or for a demonstration purpose like we're doing for today. But yeah, as the visor builds up those droplets, you can kind of go through and just kind of wipe your brow. Some gloves actually have a little visor brow thing to wipe using your finger. That's actually very useful to go in and just fix up your visor a little bit. But I can't recommend a pin lock highly enough. I have it in my other helmet, my Corsair X, and it really helps with the fogging up that can happen in high humidity conditions. You know, if you have high humidity, easily fog up the visor. Once you get moving and rolling, if you pop the you know, the visor vents, usually you can get it flowing and it clears itself out. But when you're at a stop sign or a stoplight, sometimes you can find that you know, it starts to fog up a little bit. So we'll demonstrate here. We've been cruising on this road real nice and gentle. You know, just because it's wet doesn't mean we can't have fun on our motorcycle. It just means we have to be quite a bit more cautious than we normally would be, because we have limited grip available to us. You know, if you have on a normal day, let's say 100 points of grip, on a wet day you might have 75 available to you. So it's going to be on those last little bits where you're really trying to, like, you know, maybe really get on a throttle. You'll notice that the tire slips, or God forbid the front end starts to feel a little squirrely when you're braking in the wet. If your motorcycle has traction control, you know, you can definitely dial up a higher amount of it if you're riding in the wet. Put your bike in rain mode if you're driving in the wet or something like that. I normally keep my bike in standard mode. This motorcycle has no traction control and no power modes other than putting it into an off-road mode. You know, most modern middleweight bikes, you know, like the Trident 660, for example, it has like wet mode and higher levels of traction control to help mitigate wheel speed in these low grip situations, right? But again, just because, you know, let's say, for example, you have arrived at your commute and then you spent the whole day there at the office, and then when you leave, it starts pouring. It doesn't mean that you have to take an Uber home, you know. Oh, look how beautiful this is. It doesn't mean you have to take an Uber home. You can definitely ride in the wet, and it's a great confidence building exercise. If you correctly can navigate wet weather conditions, you'll feel like a more accomplished motorcyclist in general, which is really good. So we notice here, cars still in front of us. We're just cruising on this road. Really nothing to report as of yet. Obviously, we're not going to be taking any chances because of the inclement weather we have right now. Coming up to a bend in the road here, you see that I can take it at constant throttle. We're still going that slow, all things considered, that we don't even need to worry about loading up the front end necessarily. Like, yes, you should always be doing that, but you know, if you have input of constant throttle in the machine, you can guide it through wet weather conditions. You can actually ride a lot harder than you imagine in these kind of conditions than you would think. Bigger than grip, in my opinion, is that visibility. You know, if you're riding like we are right now, I just noticed the weather's starting to kind of pick up a little bit and it's raining a little bit more. You know, you'll notice that your visor starts to go really fast and you can't see as much, and obviously seeing on your motorcycle is extremely important. And so when you're riding in wet weather like this, you want to make sure that you can still see, and you know, make sure you practice that good visibility, because you know what can happen is you can wipe your visor and the droplets start to kind of accumulate in a weird way. All right, we've finished our section of road there, confidently made it through. And check our left and right, we're good to go. Got a car coming in there, we're fine over there. You know, that's something I do on intersections is I'll go, and then when I'm halfway through, if I've cleared the one side, I will take a look back just to make sure nobody's coming my way super fast or anything like that. So we're cruising here, we're on the left-hand side of the road, trying to find our dry spot right there. Be over here on the right to keep a little bit more space. The car's coming this way. Try not to cross the middle too much when it's raining, because like I said, that crap can really build up in the road and really pull up from the road, and you really don't want to cross the center lane that much when you're on your bike. Going through residential area right here, that's something we haven't covered much on these Ride With Me's. You'll notice in residential areas that the road conditions are usually a lot worse. They're not as maintained as well as major thoroughfares and that sort of thing. So you'll notice, like back there, a little bit more bumps in the road, a little more crap in the road, but it's usually no big deal. You can conquer that pretty easily. This neighborhood section right here, it's very wide. You can see that truck parked on the side there. I still have an entire street length right over here, so ultra wide neighborhood condition right here. There's a seam in the middle of the road. There's this crack right here. I'll ride right on it, and I can tell when I'm on that crack, I have reduced grip and the bike just feels bad. So doing my best to avoid that crack in the middle of the road. Any other obstacles I find. Ooh, this is a great opportunity. Right here, you see these paint strips. Whenever you're riding in the wet, these can be so slippery. I wonder if I can get a little slide on that paint slide, because you really don't want to hit paint markers in the wet and add a lot of throttle or add a lot of lean, because they can have virtually zero grip. They are very, very sketchy to hit depending on the type of paint or how wide it is. So just try to avoid paint in the wet, because it can be really slippery. Certain types of concrete can be super slippery in the wet as well. You see right over here, this road material is more of a blacktop asphalt. It's like kind of smushed rocks and that sort of thing. In certain parking garages or outside of car washes especially, after it rains, if you got that polished kind of smooth concrete, boy, that stuff is slippery. You got to be real careful when you're riding in those kind of conditions. I've seen people, if they're riding through like a suburban parking lot, strip mall type of thing, in front of car washes where all the soap accumulates and that sort of stuff, that's super slippery. And then if it's polished concrete, you're just asking to wipe out. That stuff's just gonna shoop. There's a small bridge over here in Austin, actually on that road we were just on, that usually there's water flowing through it, and it's like a polished concrete. It is the slipperiest thing ever. Even in a four-wheeled vehicle, you'll just lose traction. And on a bike, it's gonna be real bad news. Alrighty, coming up to a stop sign here. Before I come to stop signs, I'm actually already looking left and right. Like I see that truck is pulling up the hill here. He's going quite slow, so I actually think I can get ahead of him, which is all good. Passing by right here. Residential area, we have a person with an umbrella here just walking, trying to enjoy their day, having a nice time. Gave me a wave, which is nice. Take a right over here. You see, I'm still trailing it in. I'm still riding normally in the wet. Well, what I'm doing is I'm just taking it easy, you know? I'm braking with a little bit less pressure, a little bit earlier, and just like guiding it in gradually. When I'm getting on the throttle, I'm doing so very gradually, very, very calmly. I don't want to upset this motorcycle when it's here in the wet. That's going to be how you get the bike to slide and do stuff like that. But we still have to be vigilant. We got a car coming up right over there. Looks like they spotted us from a mile away, which is great. Looks like they're giving us lots of space and distance. To be frank, it looks like she was on her phone, but that's okay. The net result is still the same to me. You didn't come into the lane, which is great. I really appreciate that, because doing an emergency stop in the wet is always a little bit sketchy. It's rare, it can happen, and you always should be covering your front brake, obviously. But yeah, having to come to a sudden and complete stop in the wet can be a little scary, just because you know that you don't have as much grip. But that's where ABS comes into play, boys. ABS is going to save your bacon quite a bit. You come into those hard braking conditions and trying to maximize grip, keep yourself upright, especially if you have cornering ABS, which a lot of new motorcycles have, which I think is a great feature. If you're on lean and you smash the front brakes, it's going to try to control that front wheel so that you don't tuck it. This motorcycle has a direct line, no ABS, and so if I bin it, and it was all my fault. We'll try to come to a spicier stop up here. Just come in. See, we can still add a lot of brake pressure. We can come to a stop much before the actual stop sign, which is not too bad. Noticing this paint strip right here. Watching the USPS truck, we're good to go. Avoiding the paint strips, going between the two of them right there. Avoiding that manhole cover, which is another super slippery object in the wet as well. Certain types of debris can be just awful in the wet too. If you hit mud in the middle of the road, oh my goodness, there's like no traction at all. I find that gravel and sand in the wet is not bad. I ride a scrambler, so I got a little bit more grip from the tires, but overall I find it to be perfectly reasonable. Avoiding those paint strips again. No problem. We're navigating things successfully. I'm feeling good. And we're staying calm, staying focused, chilling out, enjoying the ride. Because sometimes it's wet when you ride, and that's okay. Just because it's wet doesn't mean you can't go ride a motorcycle. It just means that the experience is going to be a little bit different. One thing I will say is there are times where you have wet weather, there's times you have cold weather, and there's times you have wet and cold weather. I am of the opinion that if it's wet and cold, there's no reason I'm on my motorcycle. I hate wet and cold weather. I think it's a terrible mixture for bikes. And I often feel that wet weather is a little better than cold weather when it comes to riding. I find that I have less grip in cold weather than wet weather, and I kind of just prefer a warm wet day over a cold dry day to ride my bike, to be honest. And again, if it's under 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is like 15 Celsius, 13 Celsius, I don't remember, and wet like this, boy, there really is no point in riding a bike. It's just going to be miserable. All right, taking away, checking both sides, good to go. Couldn't avoid that paint strip, but we'll just take it nice and easy over it. It's no problem at all. I do this habit, and I'm sure a lot of you out there do this too, where I find that anytime I hit the turn indicators, I'll just keep canceling them while I ride. It's just habit at this point. Nice long sweeping turn here, staying to the right on the lane here. A drier line is emerging for me here. You'll actually hear this talked about a lot in racing, especially if you watch live broadcasts for World Superbike or MotoGP. If it's a mixed weather condition and the riders are out there on slicks, but there's a dry line forming, everybody's on this like little 10 centimeter wide line that's drying up around the track and trying to retain as much grip as possible. That's kind of what you're trying to do in these conditions. You know, like it's not raining, so to speak, right now, but it is still kind of wet and crappy, and I can tell that the road is drying up in certain sections, and that's where I want to be because I got more grip, you know. I'm over here on the right-hand side of the lane. We could be in the left. However, this road, because it's kind of windy and sweepy, I don't like people doing that. They try to drive a little faster on the outside, and even though you have people that could emerge right here, I do prefer being in this part of the lane for this specific purpose. I see up there that we're all merging down into a turn. Our gentleman right here is turning into here. We're going to watch the Suburban, make sure they're not going to go. We're good to go there. I'm going to go and blend all the way to the top because that's how you should be doing it. Should be zipping. It's going to be a little tight for me right there. I'm going to go ahead and put on my indicator, rev a little bit, just make sure I'm seen. Of course I am because I'm in front of the guy. It'd be quite a bit embarrassing for him if he didn't see me. And we're good to go. Drop it down in a second. Give myself a little bit more RPM to play with there. Got some construction up ahead, which in the wet is not good news. We could have sand in the road, gravel, a bunch of crap. So I got my eyes peeled on what's going on over here. Make sure that this is all covered and all good. Got some shenanigans happening up here. This guy's trying to turn right, other guy's turning right. I'm gonna stick here in my lane. Boom, good to go. Pop this bike into neutral because I'm just sitting at a stoplight and there's nothing I can really do. Car behind me is fully stopped. Check my mirrors for that, we're good to go. And yeah, I'm enjoying this slightly wet day here, boys. Clean you guys off a little bit. All right, we're about to take off here. Onto a larger stretch of road. This is Highway 620 here in Austin, Texas. Look at this guy crossing the white, not practicing good lane discipline. Whenever you have intersections like this where people can come in as well to the right, keep an eye on the people coming in to the right, because you could be coming in to the left and then someone's trying to barrel roll through the right hand from the other side of the intersection. Also here with these kind of suicide lanes, people got turning into these random strip malls and stuff. Got this guy trying to turn left over here. We are going to be positioned in the left, give ourselves the best opportunity in terms of visibility and space for people turning in from the right. We're just cruising along here now. See that our light turned yellow up there. We are going to be one car behind, so that's nice. Cruising up here to this red light. We are going to be in 5th gear, drop 4th, 3rd, 2nd, rev matched all the way down to there. Feeling lazy, so I'm going to go ahead and click into 1st without rev matching. Come to a stop, blended with both. I got my feet down, I'm ready to go in 1st, and look at that, I'm away. I didn't have to fumble at all. That's why I tell you guys, the foot down technique and trying to be in the best gear for the best speed is the best way to do it, because then you just clearly and easily pull away from whatever stop you want, baby. Giant dually in the middle of the lane over there. Sometimes you got people that stop up in the suicide lane there in the turn lane, and they block up traffic, so that's something to keep in mind too. One thing you're going to notice when you're riding in the rain like this is you don't have quite as much visibility towards the horizon line, right? Like, you can't look as far ahead as you would like to in a lot of these situations. I like to try to keep an eye on what's going on up ahead, but between the water that's on my visor and the fact that there's kind of like a haze from the water, you might as well just not even try, because it's hard to see. So instead you should focus. See, let me try that again. So instead you should focus on what's immediately around you. That's going to be much more helpful, creating space cushion, all that good stuff. Go over here on the right, creating a little bit more space between the traffic that's flowing right there. This guy, if you were to kamikaze into the lane in front of me, it's no problem. I got plenty of space behind me. I like my position here. This is good. I like this. All right, signs up there say slow down, construction ahead. So we got a big construction site over here. Trucks entering highway. Those orange signs are always good to keep in mind, just to see what's going on. They're there for a reason, And we've cleared that construction area, so all good. Go ahead and grab 6th gear, because we're just cruising right here. So you got some traffic flowing faster around me, but that's okay. I'm not trying to speed. It's wet. I have no need to go super fast. But check this out. You can really see the road is drying up right here in front of me. So this bodes well for us cruising along here. This is really not too bad at all. All right, on these big highways where you have these intersections, depending on where you live, you might find stuff like this where, people drive at 60 miles an hour, but there's still intersections and that sort of thing. Since it's nice and wide, I normally like to filter up to the front, give myself a little bit of space between everybody, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead and just filter, because look how much space I have here in the middle. So I can go through and filter all the way to the front. Check both sides and we're good to go. Back up to the speed limit and we're away from all that traffic, putting me in a very safe position. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I don't want to be stuck in a bunch of cars, and I'll filter when it makes sense to filter, boys. Got a gentleman riding over there. I think the car is right in front of us, so I couldn't catch the wave on him. That's okay. See that car coming up, taking a right? Probably going to go for it. That Camry, he's waiting. No, he took his sweet time. He's now going to chill in the turn lane for some reason. I'm going to go here to the left, give him some space, because this guy just really took his time, and now he's just chilling in the bicycle lane for some reason. We're going to go ahead and get out in front of him, go right here ahead of him, and execute that very nicely. You'll see people do that where they want to just come into the lane, and they just take their time, and then they go for it, and they sit in the shoulder for half a mile trying to get up to speed. And it's like, dude, just execute the merge. Just execute the merge, get it done, call it a day. Now, why didn't I filter right here? Well, the light was already green, and so if I were to go ahead and filter right here, because it's not legal in Texas to do so, people get kind of antsy and kind of mad. You also have people turning right up ahead there, and that's going to make it so that people will probably try to jump out into the left lane to avoid those people, and so that's going to create a situation where I am not, you know, being as safe as I can. Right back there practicing some footless stopping, just enjoying our bike. Always practicing some skills. I can tell the weather's kind of changing over here. I can't tell if it's raining more or less. It looks like the sun is almost out over here. It's a very strange condition today. Kind of hazy, kind of strange. Oh, the light turned yellow and I'm in the middle here, so I'm actually going to go ahead, just get out of the way. Did that for safety, boys. I was in the middle of the intersection. The light turned orange or yellow, and I did not want to be stuck in the middle of the intersection. It's just not where I want to be. Truck in front of us with a Hamburglar plate. Boy, that's a good one. I like that hamburger plate. That is nice. So I see there's a red light up ahead, and this Jeep in front of me is trying to take a right. I'm not sure where he's trying to take a right to. We'll see here what he's got going on. If everybody's secured, I may go for the filter. But again, filtering in wet weather, slippery conditions, through the paint lines, unless you're really trying to save some time, might not be worth it if you're a more entry-level rider. That's something that I would only recommend for those who are, you know, really in a hurry type of thing, if you really got to get somewhere. But at the same time, if you're in a hurry, man, maybe you shouldn't be on the bike, you know? Maybe go on the shoulder over there to get out ahead of these people. But I got that white pickup truck blocking me up a little bit.
Look, I know it's banana yellow to you, but Suzuki calls this color on the GSX 8R Pearl Ignite Yellow. It's actually very pretty in person, and you will get loads of looks while you're riding it, because guess what? I am giving this bike away to a lucky member in the audience. I've given away over 51 motorcycles valued at over $500,000 in the last 5 years. It's been the coolest part about running this channel, and we just keep doing cool bikes all the time. Head over to yamanoob.co and pick out a t-shirt, a hat, a hoodie, whatever you'd like, and every dollar you spend on the store will be an entry to win the bike, and who knows, we might even have a sweet multiplier going on right now. So head over to the store, check it out, and don't miss it.
But, you know, it's not a big deal. Sometimes you're stuck in traffic, and it is what it is. However, I don't want to be stuck in traffic, so I think I might use my motorcycle powers. I'm going to ride on the shoulder here. Give myself a little bit of space between these guys. I got a space right there. Check my 3 o'clock right there. Merge in here, easy peasy, rear brake. Do it quickly, boys. If you're gonna do stuff like that, do it quickly, get it done, flow with everybody. Don't get anybody blocked up or backed up, because you really don't want to do stuff like that. You want to just flow through. And again, I'm doing stuff that's keeping me safe and getting me through traffic. I'm not 100% following all the rules. Hey, look at that. I think the sun is coming out. What a strange day. So see, I was talking about the car wash and those kind of areas. Like, see, areas like that, sometimes they have polished concrete without the grading in it, and it can make it super duper slippery. So be careful when you're in like little strip mall areas like this, you know, grabbing yourself a Chipotle or going to the car wash, that sort of thing. You might find that it's quite slippery. Look at all that debris over here on the side. You would not want to chance it on that road right there. We have arrived to our primary turn lane. We're going to hang right here, make sure nobody's flying up on our backside over there. We have the green light to turn green, or turn right up there. See, I got this arrow. I'm going to bank it down into second gear, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to make sure I got the clear, everything's good, and then I'm going to go and take it nice and easy because it's wet. Now I'm finally on a clear bit of road. Can enjoy a little bit more. We got through our traffic, no problem. And it's all good, baby. Because we're just trying to stay safe, stay efficient, move through traffic, get to where we need to go. Sticking on the right-hand lane here, because the right-hand side of the lane here, because there's no turnouts here. I know this road very well, and I know that people come over this way really quickly, so I like to give myself a buffer away from the left over here. So that's something I've told you guys a lot about in videos, is that you have to ride to the conditions of the road. You can't just do stuff the same all the time. You have to ride and do stuff that makes the most sense for where you are currently at. And right now, where I'm currently at, there's nobody that can come out this way. I prefer to stick here on the right. Gives me a little bit better chance to avoid traffic coming in the other way. Check it out. Got people coming in from over there. Got that guy. He might go for it. He might go for it. We're good to go. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. But he was turning left. You keep an eye on him, though. You keep an eye on him. You keep an eye on the road with him in your peripheral vision. And you're like, is he going to go for it? Is he going to go for it? And then it's like, no, he's fine. He's good. He's good. He's good. So we're cruising here. I think the speed limit's about 45 or so. I'm doing 54, so I am speeding a little bit. But that's okay because I see the conditions are drying up and I'm on a motorcycle and it's all good. If I get pulled over, I get pulled over, boys. It is what it is. I'm going a little bit fast for conditions. Not religiously following the speed limit. All right, coming over the crest here. Nice twisty road. Got some crap in the road here. I see some rocks on the side here. I saw from back there, looked like a truck maybe pulled out from that location. Kind of put some rocks in the middle of the road type of thing. But it's not too bad. I'm gonna wipe my visor again because it looks like the rain is picking up a little bit. But as you can tell, you know, riding in the rain, it's similar to riding in the dry. It's just a little bit more careful and a little bit more upright. That's all it really takes. It's not going to be a situation where you can't ride or as soon as you ride, you're just going to tip over and fall. Just ride the same like you normally do. Just be vigilant and cognizant of what's happening. That's all you need to do. Just because it's wet doesn't mean you're going to immediately have no traction. It means that you have reduced traction, right? Alright, I'm in 6th gear. I don't need to be, but I got the scrambler, so I got a little bit more torque on tap. 803cc 2-valve Desmodromic L-twin from Ducati. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Look at that. Wet weather, kind of rainy, kind of crappy, and we're able to have some fun through these corners. Isn't that nice? Going downhill, so I'll go ahead and grab 4th gear. Cruise on down here. Floating the brakes a little bit. Letting our front end load up. Got a bit of a bump right here. Yoink, there we go. Cruising through here. Always keep both hands on the bars, boys. I just took mine off because I'm a little lazy, but that's okay. A little bit of a jump here. Woo! We're still gotta have some fun, come on. What's the point if we're not having fun? Got that Honda Fit going by here. Anybody else? We're good to go. Grab the brakes a little bit. We're having fun. We're having fun. Look at that. You can still have fun just because it's wet. It's no biggie. You got it. You can enjoy. But we're not going to go for a pass. Even though the road looks really dry here. That's something you will pick up on as you ride more and more, is gauging the wetness of the road and the condition of the road as you ride. Sometimes it's pretty hard to tell how wet the road is depending on the type of road that it is. But you know, as you ride more and more in the area that you live, you'll be able to tell, oh, okay, that part's wet, this isn't wet. You know, right now it looks pretty much dry. It doesn't really look that wet right now, but I still wouldn't chance it just because there's all this wetness in the air. I'm sure it's trickling down to the ground, reducing my available grip. Grab down 2 gears, float the brakes all the way to here. I'm back on the gas real nice and easy. Grab the brakes, load up the front end. We're going uphill, so I was early getting back on the gas there. You notice that. If you're going uphill, you're going to slow down faster, right? If you're going downhill, you got to slow down a little earlier. Sticking to the outside here because cars come through right there. We were running a pace with the Honda Fit, so we're not going very fast, so we didn't have to brake for that one going uphill. We were able to just lightly roll off the throttle, and you felt the front end load a little bit and then get back on it, just because we were going uphill. But yeah, guys, riding in the wet through traffic, not a big deal. Not a big deal to do it. Just got to keep a mindful eye out on things. Got to make sure you're taking a look at everything, make sure everything's cool, and you're cruising along on your motorcycle. And sometimes it can be hard to gauge because the rain can come and go, right? Like depending on where you live, sometimes it can kind of start raining like this, then stop, then start again, then stop. Like right now, it's really kind of a weird situation. If I look out on the horizon in the distance over there, it looks like it's picking up, but at the same time, it doesn't look like it's picking up because I can tell based on my visor. That's one of the best indicators you have, is how many droplets are appearing on your visor. If you have lots appearing on your visor, that means it's starting to rain quite a bit. A little bit less, you should be in the clear. You can even get away with riding pretty normally. There's just a couple droplets on your visor. So we'll cruise here. Saw that guy from over there with my frickin' spidey senses. I have no idea how I even spotted that guy. I literally didn't even see him. My head turned completely automatically. That was so weird. Sticking over here on the outside. So tar snakes, kind of you can see right here, these kind of quick and dirty fixes they put on the road. I hate those things. They provide very minimal grip, and they're super horrible even in dry conditions. They make your bike feel all squirmy and weird. And in wet weather, boy, don't hit one of those things. Do not hit a tar snake in wet weather. It is not very nice. You have a lot less grip on those things, even in the dry. So if you are, you know, coming in, like I just hit that one right there, it doesn't feel good. You can really feel a big difference. And depending on where you are, you might have a lot of tar snakes, to be honest. Some roads have terrible quality, terrible conditions. They have all these tar snakes on them, and then it's just no good. All right, we're taking this corner right over here, sticking to the outside. We're gonna drop 2 gears real nice, trail us into right there, back on the gas nice and smooth. We're up into 4th because we're being lazy, going uphill, back on the gas right here, nice and smooth. We're always putting inputs on our motorcycle, right? Always giving the bike an input, gas or brake, gas or brake. Feels real nice to do so. Cruising over here, sticking to the right. People sometimes like to cut this yellow right here. Watching our turnout lanes, got a truck up ahead of us there. We know this road really well, so we are in really good shape. We are just cruising along here, feeling so good on our motorcycle today, boys. Feeling so good riding in the wet. No issues at all. Grab a couple of gears down, coast in, little bumpy right there. Not a problem at all. So a work truck like this, you know, the guy's probably just going from job site to job site. He's not going to be going super fast. You can usually pass these guys pretty easily. This guy's running a decent pace right now, 45 miles an hour. I'm not feeling like I absolutely have to pass the guy. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world. Just cruising along here. Check out the sun. It's coming out a little bit more. I just saw there's another red car that was going over that way. So even if I were to pass this truck aggressively, I would just be up against another car pretty much immediately. I'm gonna go ahead and grab 3rd gear right here, trail the brakes all the way in. I saw that entrance over there had some gravel in the road, so I made sure to pick a line that didn't hit that, because even though this is a scrambler, I don't want to hit gravel at lean going 40 miles an hour. That's not going to be fun. Nice hairpin turn here. Grab down into 2nd. Watch the truck in front of me as I brake to make sure he's not over braking. He did a good job there, so we're good to go. Pick it up off the apex, and we'll keep on cruising right here. Clutchless shift into 4th, into 5th. We could grab down into 4th clutchless. Brake with just like that. We're gonna brake and grab 3rd clutchless. You ready? 3rd clutchless. 4th, 5th. 3rd clutchless, baby. Who needs a clutch? Who needs a quick shifter? Probably seen those coaches on track that ride one-handed faster than you can. That's some of the technique they're doing right here. 5th gear, brakes, down into 3rd. No clutch required. We're downshifting. How does he do it? How does he do it? Maybe I'll make a whole video teaching you guys how to do that, because it is fun. All right, let's get both hands back on the handlebars. I see that it's getting a little darker over that way, and I'm not loving how dark it is over there. But hopefully we get a ton of rain and we show you guys what to do if it starts really raining. If it starts really pouring down, you know. Are you screwed? Well, you might be from the GoPro angle, because I don't know how you guys will have to handle the vision. But I'll be able to see, so don't worry. So check this out. This car started to go very slowly, right? I still didn't come up against them right on their bumper. It's really not cool to tailgate people. So even on a road like this, even if it's wet, and I can clearly see that I could be a lot faster than this car ahead of me, I'm not going to ride right up against their tail, right? To like assert dominance or to prove to them I'm faster. Because if they decide to brake check me, I'm screwed, right? So I always try to give a nice amount of buffer between me and the cars ahead, unless there's a very clear path to pass. And on this road, it's just going to be a little tough to do that, right? Like even right here, I was like, maybe I have room, but I remember that I'm on a scrambler, not a freaking MT-09 or something, and there's no way that I'm going to have the power to very quickly pass with confidence. I'm going to have to wait a couple more seconds, and those few seconds might be the difference between me getting clobbered by someone coming in the other way and making the corner. So to the outside here, you see the middle has all that crap in the road. It's just not a nice, I can't tell if there's a nice grippy surface there, so you don't want to ride in the middle. Stick to the outside here. We're going to cross over to the inside, give ourselves some space from oncoming traffic. Give this Volvo some room. Give them some room. Brake real early, real early. See, we're giving them nice leeway. That little section right there is really fun if you're on like a middleweight naked, like an MT-07 or a 9. You go there in second gear, you can pop a wheelie right between the two corners and then take the other corner. It's a ton of fun. I love doing that. It does look like we're going to get a little bit more rainfall, boys. We'll see if this happens. Check it out. We got a 15-mile-an-hour corner that says 150 miles an hour. Holy crap, I wish we could take it that fast. But check out how much it decreases right here. Look. Right there. Look how much it tightens up. That's how so many people get caught out on this road. Maybe we'll get a little bit of space to have some fun and get past this car. But even if we don't, again, it is wet. It isn't that type of day. We should take it easy. Take it nice and easy. All right, see, another way you can tell how wet it is if you're behind a car, you take a look at their wheels, right? If you start to see water kind of pluming up off of their wheels like I am seeing on this Volvo right here, it's telling me that this is a wet condition, right? Like there's all these little clues you can see as you ride to be like, oh, okay, like I'm getting a little bit wet weather here. It's probably not going to be a good idea to push it. But then right here, it looks like we dried up again. So I'm not sure why it was all wet over there. Probably because the construction site, they're doing that to mitigate some of the debris that they put on the road. But I'm not seeing any more water now, so it looks like it's clear, but you never quite know, so you want to definitely take it easy when you're riding on roads like this if you're in the Twisties and you happen to be in wet weather. Trail it in, following the car, give them a space cushion, at least one car length, look at that. And you know, am I having the best time? Nah, guys, like I'm behind a freaking Volvo on one of my favorite roads, but what are you gonna do, you know? How are you supposed to approach this without being a kamikaze squid? Watch it tighten up right here. That's why we drag the brakes a little bit in the front. See, he's riding the yellow line there, so that's why you, on the other side of the road, you'd want to be closer to the inside. Stick here to the outside for this corner. Cruising along. All right, this one's going to tighten up a little bit right here. See that guy slowing down because we are tightening. Radius is tightening all the way. Oh my goodness, when is this corner going to end? Weird little like horseshoe shaped corner, you know? Just keeps tightening up, just zoop, you know? Really weird one. All right, this gentleman is finally taking a left over here. Nice for us. We'll be able to enjoy our motorcycle a little bit. The brakes, check our 6, we're good to go. Gonna tighten up a little bit here. Fourth gear. So it's super conservative since you know, again, it's wet. In third right here, just take it nice and easy. It's gonna tighten up to a nice flick back to the left. Third gear, we're still cruising, brakes on it again. It's See, even though it's wet, I'm able to ride at a pretty fun pace. I'm still having a good time. It reminds me when we rode in Sardinia for the launch of the Touareg 660. On the way back, it started pouring rain, and it was me and a bunch of kamikaze journalists, and we were like basically treating the island like a track day. And it was on the same tires as this Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled, the Pirelli Rally Scorpion STRs, and I'll tell you what, these grip pretty damn well in the wet. Pretty damn well. Beautiful. Beautiful ride. Well, boys, that was my ride with me in traffic video, showing you guys some wet weather prowess. Hope you learned something. Hope you had some fun. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have a comment on what you'd like to see me cover next, please leave me a comment down below. I love doing this video series. I think it's really helpful for new riders to see a pretty unedited view of what it's like to just literally cruise around with the motorcycle, real world tactics, real world riding, and how an experienced rider would do it. Again, I am not an MSF coach, an instructor. I'm just a guy who's been riding for 10 years, who's got a lot of experience under his belt, a lot of club racing, track days, that sort of thing. And that's what I do to ride safe and have fun. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I really do appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next one. See you later. Keep watching, Yammy Noob. Keep watching, Yammy Noob. Keep watching, Yammy Noob. You guys said the outros were getting a little too weird. I don't know. Can't please everybody, can you? But you know what you can do? Join as a member on yammynoob.co, and you can keep interacting with me, your sweet Papa Yam. Or, if you want to keep our relationship a little bit more distant, I completely understand. Hit the link over here and keep watching more videos. I wouldn't blame you.